Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. I want you to imagine that you've started to get some problems with your eyes, with your seeing, and so you decide to go to the optometrist for help. And then after you tell them about your problem, he ends up taking his glasses off and says, "Here, try these on." And so you try them on and you realize that it makes the problem even worse, and you tell him that you can't see anything. And then the optometrist is like, "What? These glasses have worked well for me for the past 10 years. You try them on again." And then so you try these glasses on again and still you can't really see anything. And then the optometrist gets angry and he says, "Well, these glasses work well for me. There must be something wrong with you." And this is a passage from this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this story really got me thinking, because how often are we in our lives attached to our own ways of thinking? And I think this is even more the case when we go through a spiritual awakening or we really dive into self-improvement, and then we see the world through a different lens in a way that's so unconventional to the norm. But this way of thinking actually has improved our lives. And so we just want to share it out to the world and have other people view things from the same lens, because you know or think that it's going to improve their life as well. And so you go off and start sharing with other people, only to be met with deaf ears. So you start to feel resentful. You start to feel judgment towards others who don't wake up and view the world from the same lens. I think this is something which is very important to address, because I think that through our judgment of others, I think is going to be an obstacle towards our self-actualization. Because if that really is our goal, to take steps towards our higher self and to self-actualize, then this needs to be addressed. This is, I believe, like a dragon in the hero's journey, which needs to be slain, but it's not really talked about. It's sort of like a hidden dragon which sort of catches you when you're unaware and you don't know that you're acting unconsciously based on it. Because after your spiritual awakening, you realize that you are the operant power. You have the power to choose your thoughts and your own emotions. However, your judgment of others is making you fall from a state of grace and feel these negative, low vibrational feelings of judgment and resentment towards other people. And it's so easy to blame the outer world and say, if only other people were more enlightened and more awake, then I wouldn't have to feel this way. But then that goes against the things which you've learned in the spiritual and self-improvement journey, that you are the operant power. You have the power over yourself to choose your own thoughts and emotions. And so how do we address this problem? There's this quote from Carl Jung which goes, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." And so when we think about other people, we think about them being the obstacle. I think that a different perspective to that is the obstacle is the way. When we understand what triggers us about other people, it can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. I want to give you guys an example from my own story of me judging other people. So I've been in like fitness and diet for like the past 5 years, and I've generally been consistent with it. So sometimes when other people say that they struggle to stay consistent with like diet and exercise, and then my brain can sometimes go into judgment mode and think, why can't they just see through the lens that if you just stay consistent, then you'll get the results that you want. But then it's not that simple, and I sort of view it in such a narrow way without first trying to understand the individual. But then if I turn the mirror to myself and I start to look in the mirror and ask myself, where in my life do I not stay consistent and disciplined towards an area where I want to develop a new habit, then the answers start to come to me almost immediately. And I start to think that, oh yeah, that's right, I wanted to meditate more, or I wanted to journal more, or this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to do more breath work, and I also wanted to do more visualization at night. These are all areas which I've struggled to build a habit with. And perhaps my judgment of somebody else not being able to stay consistent with their own habits is a judgment of myself not being able to stay consistent with my own habits that I want to develop. And so when we can see through the illusion, then we view things from a high level of consciousness and understand the areas in our life where we need to work on to help us on the path to self-actualization. And another thing which I've learned from this is that if you judge other people and feel resentment towards them, then there is a lack of empathy and love. And so that will be reflected back to you. Because if you don't accept the faults and the shortcomings of other people, then how can you accept the faults and the shortcomings of yourself? Because if you can't love other people, then how are you going to love yourself, and vice versa? If the spiritual path of becoming your higher self entails, or a big component of that is love and acceptance, then how are you going to reach that if you can't love and accept other people and yourself? And there's this quote from Carl Jung which I think is fantastic, and it goes, "What if I should discover that the poorest of the beggars and the most impudent of offenders are all within me, and that I stand in the need of the arms of my own kindness, that I myself am the enemy who must be loved? What then?" And so one other thing which I've come across on this journey, I've said it in my videos before, that life is a mirror and not a window. Life is a reflection of what we feel internally. And so when we put out the energy of judgment, then the energy of judgment will come back to us. So what I've realized in my life, like literally every single time I've judged somebody like harshly, I don't necessarily need to say it out. If I've judged them harshly in my own mind, then I feel that reflected back to me. I feel the judgment of other people. And it sort of reminds you of the law of attraction, of like you attract what you are. If you are sending out the vibration of judgment out into the world, then it will come back to you. And this is even written in the Bible. The Bible says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." This is literally like the universal law of karma. Like what you put out is what you get back. And judgment, what I've learned is that judging others only hurts yourself. Criticisms are like homing pigeons. They always return back home. And this is an obstacle. This is an obstacle that we must overcome. Like if you don't overcome these judgments, then this is an obstacle in your way towards you reaching your higher self. And the obstacle is the way. Through your judgments shows you the areas in your life where you need to practice unconditional love. And through practicing unconditional love for others, then you learn to unconditionally love yourself. And love is the highest vibration. And when you emanate the vibration of love, then that is what is reflected back to you. And isn't that what we all want, like in life? Sounding like a hippie, but that's what everybody wants. And it's something that is difficult because to get to the love, we need to pass through the shadow. To get through the love, we need to pass through the shadow. One cannot reach enlightenment by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. We need to shine the light of consciousness to the darker aspects of ourselves to find love and bring it out into the world and to receive it as well. Alright, so I've created this worksheet for you guys because I've always liked to say in my videos that it's all about the inner work. It's all about the journaling, and it's through the inner work in the journaling through which you're going to see changes in the outer world, because a life is a mirror and not a window. So when you change yourself internally, you're going to see that reflected to you in the outer world. So before you embark on this worksheet, you may feel like you're judging others. You may feel that the energy of judgment and resentment return to you by the external world because you're sending that energy out. So you may feel it return to you through other people. You may feel the low vibrational state. You will feel triggered by other people. You have a poor relationship with yourself and you don't love yourself. So after we do the worksheet, after we delve in and heal all of this, we may start to feel love and acceptance towards others. That we also, in return, we feel love and acceptance by the external world, because that's the energy we send out. So that's the energy we will start to receive. We start operating through life at a high vibration. We're at peace and in harmony. We're no longer triggered by, judging other people. And so we have a good relationship with ourselves and we love and accept ourselves. Okay, so now to the journaling prompts. What judgments do I have of other people? I mentioned it in the video already, that some judgments that I have of other people is I judge other people when they don't stick to their habits. I judge other people when they are stagnant and can't seem to change. I guess this year that's the biggest judgments that have been feeling towards other people. Just to be honest, I'm letting you guys know my shadow here. And so I really encourage you guys to do the same, because this is how you heal yourself and the world and all that stuff. So the next one is, where does that same judgment apply towards myself? So like I said in the video, I tend to struggle maintaining a habit of visualization before I sleep. Also with breathwork and consistent meditation. So I perhaps am judging myself because I struggle to change. Okay, so what judgments have I felt from other people? So like I said before, every time you judge other people and you send that energy out there, there's a chance that you're going to be receiving that to you from the external world. So recently I felt like I was receiving judgment from one of my friends. So we were talking about something and we had like a slight disagreement, and I felt like my friend was judging me for not knowing the subject and being incompetent. So, okay, so what similar judgments have I sent out to the universe to have it returned to me? So I really had to think about this one. When I felt my friend seemed to have that energy of judgment and judging me for being incompetent, then I really had to look back in my life on where do I make other people feel that way themselves about a particular topic. And then I guess the answer has come to me that sometimes when I talk about spirituality with friends and family, I sort of get on my spiritual high horse with my perception of things, and it may make them feel like I'm judging them for not being on the same page or seeing things the way that I see it. And this is a really tough one, because you're literally getting a taste of your own medicine, and it hurts, because when you realize that the hurt that you feel from somebody judging you, that you are inflicting the same hurt onto somebody else, especially the people that you love, then it is a really humbling experience. And that is why I really think that your judgment of others is the pathway towards your higher self. It is showing you where you need to be more compassionate and show more love and empathy and understanding. And I think that is exactly what the world needs. The world needs all of that stuff. That's why there's all this fucking chaos going on of like differing opinions, and people are just angry at each other and not understanding each other. And I know I keep getting caught in the same boat as well, but I think the only path moving forward, ultimately for the universe and also for ourselves, is just understanding and love. When we all just can go around our differences and accept each other, then I think the world will be a better place. How can I love other people? To love and accept others. To see people with a differing opinion from the viewpoint of God. And this is a perspective which my friend showed me. So I've got this friend, he's actually really spiritual, his name's Ross, and I just caught up with him. And I asked him, how do you overcome judgment of other people? Because he's got wildly like differing opinions to a lot of people as well, like just like with anyone. And he said that to view people through the lens of God. And that just blew my mind, because it sort of brought to light my shadow of, my ego of acting like I am like the supreme judge of other people, where I'm not. Who am I? I'm just one person going through life as well, trying to figure things out, and I am just a sum total of my previous experiences leading me to this present moment, and so too are other people. So how can I judge the journey of other people? If I judge the journey of other people and don't accept it, then how am I supposed to, in a similar way, accept the journey of myself, like accept my own journey? Because if I can't accept other people and I can't accept myself, then it rips me away from the fact that perhaps everything that has led me up until this point is perfect. And what if everybody's journey is perfect? What if God's full creation is perfect and things are unfolding the way that it should, and there is nothing to change and everything is perfect? No matter how crazy that may sound, I think that is just the true meaning of unconditional love. Okay, so 6, how can I love myself? Find my own definition of love. To not judge myself on the journey. To know it's okay to feel lost and be on the path of improvement. So I think one thing that a lot of people struggle with is like self-acceptance. And I'm not trying to say this in a way of like self-acceptance and I'm going to eat junk food and I'm going to drink alcohol and I'm going to play video games, I'm going to like fuck my life off. That's not self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is accepting yourself at every stage of the journey. When you're trying and failing, I think that is where we need to apply self-love and self-acceptance. I think that is the true meaning of self-acceptance, to accept yourself at every stage of your journey when you're trying. Because I think it's so easy for us to be our own supreme judge and to judge ourselves when we're not excelling at the pace that we imagined in our mind. We tend to judge ourselves. And when we judge ourselves on our journey, then it just rips us away from the state of love. And when we're away from the state of love, then we're at a low vibration. We start to see things differently. And then that's when everything goes south. So my main one here is to love myself at every stage of the journey, with all my flaws and with all my mistakes and all my failures, to love myself no matter what. And I also realize the way that this is going to tie into my future is the way that I love myself is going to be the way that I love other people, especially my family and especially my future kids. If I can't accept the failures and the mistakes that I have made on my own path, then how am I supposed to accept the failures and mistakes of my future family, my future kids? I'm going to be like a shit parent that gets angry at them every time they make a mistake. And that's essentially what it's like. Like, think about yourself. Like, if you are your own parent, you're failing, you're making mistakes, how will you treat yourself and how would you like to be treated? I think that is a good other perspective on how to answer this question of how I can love myself. So essentially everything that we've done here of doing the inner work and doing the shadow work and figuring out the things which are blocking us from being our higher self is what I teach in my 12-week program. And essentially this is where I coach people on their journey towards their higher self, so they can undo the conditioning and the limiting beliefs which is keeping them stuck at where they are, so they can move forward towards self-actualization and becoming the highest version of themselves which they can become. And if you're currently walking on the higher self path, then I'm offering a free 45-minute clarity call where we'll briefly talk about your journey, where you want to go, what's been holding you back, so we can really try to uncover and unpack everything, so you'll walk away from this call with more clarity and understanding on your path moving forward. So if you're interested, link down in the description below where you can book a call. And as always, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.